My name is Aaron Crosby Lyles, and this is News from the Can. It is June 2nd, 2018, and this is a map of the 2-meter temperature anomaly. So that's 6 feet above the ground. It's from the ground level to 6 feet above the ground, and there's a lot of blue. So for the late date of June 2nd, this is what the map looks like in terms of your global warming and so forth. Greenhouse warming exists. It's out there. But, you know, there's a big picture. So we're heading into a grand solar minimum, less output from the sun. And the upshot of that is that because the heat capacity of land is less, much less, than the heat capacity of seawater, the temperatures deep inside of continents has a tendency to fluctuate more wildly, which means that less output from the sun, you're going to have colder temperatures in the interior of continents. Meanwhile, the higher heat capacity of the seawater means that it's going to hold on to its heat, and it just so happens that over the last 20 or 30 years, it's absorbed a lot of heat. There's a NOAA document that came out a while back. You can see it in one of my videos. I just want to snap this off real quick and just give people out there an idea of what's going on. Got an anomalously warm blob down here, which probably may have to do with precipitation. That can cause, you know, if you have snow, if it's snowing, it can look like an anomalously high temperature. So, and that's just a function of the heat of freezing, you know, of that process, the process of water freezing, or, you know, precipitation has a tendency to throw that off. But in any case, there's this. So there we are, and headed into a grand solar minimum. These temperatures, according to some, have a tendency, the high temperature anomaly, according to some folks, they believe that they have a tendency to run high on this site, which is climatereanalyzer.org, you know. But in this particular case, there's a lot of anomalously cold conditions out there. Sea surface temperature anomaly, same thing. This patch right here, because this part of the North Atlantic is anomalously cooler, that tells some scientists that they seem to think that is indicative of the thermal halide overturning current shutting down, because this is where typically that current dives down and starts heading back. It comes up this way and it dives down here and starts going back the other way. When it does that, when it dives down, it releases its heat. So this area is typically anomalously warm for the North Atlantic. And now, because it's anomalously cooler, they're saying that means that the thermal halide overturning current is shutting down. And if you look at this looks like the Gulf Stream right here. You see these blue anomalously cold temperatures mixed with anomalously warm temperatures. That's indicative of overturning. You know, the colder water from depth is coming up because as the current goes by, it has the water roils. It's like a sideways vortex. It has a tendency to bring that cold water up from the top and turn it over. And then you have, you know, of course, eddies and things like that basically do something similar, the same kind of thing. Interesting. But interesting to note here, we're seeing a lot of cool sea surface temperatures. Another effect of less output from the sun, grand solar minimum, is that there's more cosmic radiation, and the Svensmark effect, where you have more clouds and things like that. But you don't really even need the Svensmark thing, because when you have less output from the sun, the differential that you get between the temperatures of the land masses and the temperatures of the ocean, because the ocean has a higher heat capacity, holds on to that heat, and lower heat capacity of the land, you know, the land has a tendency to cool off much quicker. So it produces this temperature differential, and it causes something like that we just had in Florida, where you'll get these rivers of air that sort of get stuck, and then you'll get these rivers of precipitation that just get stuck, and it keeps roiling up. One of the effects of that is that here you see these cold, anomalously cooler temperatures, sea surface temperatures around Florida, the southern tip of Florida and the western coast of Cuba here, on the east coast of Florida. Well, that's because of rain and overcast conditions and rain. That cold rainwater hitting the surface of the ocean just cools it down. So, and here off the coast of Africa, you know, and all these anomalously cool water temperatures across the ocean. That's, you know, that's indicative of cloud cover and rain, precipitation, as well as, you know, just less output from the sun. So there you have it. And you see that 2-meter temperature anomaly. Those cooler temperatures, anomalously cooler temperatures, are in the middle of continents. This area of Baffin Island was seen as area of circulation that has been just stuck here for I don't even know how long now, months, that just stays here and just keeps winding along. But these areas, you see these landlocked areas and so forth, they're anomalously cooler. This in Kazakhstan, this area is centered on western Kazakhstan, between the Aral Sea and the Caspian Sea here, you know, just below Moscow, you know, below Russia. Moscow's right in here somewhere, I believe. It's in here somewhere. But anyway, so there you have it. There's your anomalously cooler continental temperatures. And that's where we're at, June 2nd. Now, the summer solstice is June 21st. Typically, you will see that record-breaking temperatures are usually right around the summer solstice. So between June 20-something, June 20th usually, and the end of the middle of July, middle end of July is typically when you see those record-breaking high temperatures. And sometimes towards the end of July, you'll see like a cold. We've gotten cool blasts come through to where I'm thinking, wow, is this, you know, it's in the middle of July and you'll get a cool blast. It's almost like makes you think it's fall or something. Really interesting. So, you know, we live on a planet where the air moves around, and that's all there is to it. But just wanted to throw that out there and give you all a heads up on because it's one of the things that I keep tabs of, and I find it rather interesting. All the people out there hollering about doomsday warming and stuff like that. The planet's looking mighty cool, you know, really just is. So that's the sea surface temperature. So when you see this blob here, it doesn't necessarily give you a picture of what's going on transport-wise with the ocean, current-wise and things like that, whereas the sea surface temperature you can clearly see. This is clearly the Gulf Stream here. It looks as though it's going much lower, and then you have some interesting stuff going on here. So that's just for perspective. It's good to look at the sea surface temperature because, you know, the sea surface temperature anomaly might give someone a false impression of what's going on transport-wise, what's really going on with the ocean. So you got to throw that. You got to do the actual sea surface temperature to, you know, offer that perspective. And there it is. So that's all I've got. I just wanted to throw this out there and give you all a heads up. It's anyone's guess as what's going to happen. Elevated tectonic activity because, as you will hear repeatedly across the internet, as output from the sun goes down, more cosmic radiation hitting the Earth in various ways. You know, you got muons coming down from cosmic rays that are impacting molecules in the upper atmosphere, and cosmic rays just penetrating right on down. So these things are heating up the magma, and you will probably see more volcanic activity, earthquakes, and maybe even some movement. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But in any case, we're going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. You know? Everything's going to be all right. So y'all take care up there. I love you guys, man. Take it easy and be good and enjoy your day. I mean, that's really kind of crucial, isn't it? Enjoy your day. Stock up. Get your survival gear together, you know, because you never know what's going to happen. But while you're doing that, enjoy your day, you know. Hug your loved ones and make love, eat some good food, and have a good time. And that's all I got. My name is R. Crosby Lyles. Thanks for watching. See you.